Hey, yo, what's good, Flash fam? Welcome back to the after show here at the Stream.tv. You know it's the #1 fan show network all across the board. How about that episode tonight? What's up, everybody? I'm Dylan Landon, a.k.a. The Hype Guy, chilling with you, getting over a little bit of cold here, so if I sound a little nasally, excuse me.
It's your boy Devon. What's good? #1 Flash fan of all time. Don't get it twisted.
Hey guys, what's up? Lauren Mayhew here. I want to give a shout out to H2H Corelli. He's been sending a lot of Twitter messages to me, so that's a shout out for you, bud.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's Jack here. I don't know if you're in California watching this, but what an awful day we've had today. But yay, finally the drought's over. We got some rain. Feels like England again.
Oh man, that's what everyone's gonna say around here in LA. Oh, man,
Yeah, like, oh,
Feels like England.
We
Feels
needed
like
it.
England
like
again.
England.
Great. Oh yeah, you know what? We needed it. We needed it.
Miles
We
away.
needed it. We needed it. Yeah, we did need it. And I know we needed this episode to come on tonight because this Flash Arrow team up crossover event has been in the works since, I guess, the show started, so it's finally here, and it was pretty exciting. Before we get into what Arrow had to do with this episode, we got to see Barry go up against a new villain tonight.
We did.
And he went by the name of Prism, and he's got an alternate nickname called the Rainbow Raider, and he had a really strong impact on Barry. Now, what was his power, what's he about, and how come he was so impactful for Barry?
Well, in the comic books, Rainbow Raider and Prism are actually two different people. But Roy G. Bivolo, whatever the hell you want to call him, is actually the Rainbow Raider. So Caitlin got that one right. He's the guy who had these goggles that he can pick like any color and make you do whatever you wanted. You know, I guess it's kind of like, you know, the lantern rings. Each color is a different emotion or what. Yeah. He would do that with the color, but I guess this one they signified red. You know, anger, rage, and whatnot, which the Red Lantern ring is, you know, pretty fucked up. But, oh, excuse me, F-bomb. Sorry about that. I think it's my first of the whole thing. Sorry. But yeah, there you go. Rainbow Raider, pretty cool guy.
Yeah. So the fact that we've never kind of seen Barry angry.
Yeah.
So how come this was like, it kind of just let it all out in Barry. So how do you feel
really
about
did.
Barry's reaction?
It was nice to see because Barry's been a very sweet and innocent kind of guy since we've met him since the beginning of the season. So to kind of see that angry side, I mean, it wasn't nice. Don't get me wrong, it was nice.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was good. It was nice to see Grant actually play that other side of himself.
Well, we were kind of talking about it too, how it was interesting to see how he actually became almost more effective as the Flash when he was angry.
For sure.
Which, you know, I don't know if that's a good thing that anger brought that out, but it'd be interesting if he could somehow harness that energy or that
motivation
motivation while still doing good instead of doing it for evil. So that would be really beneficial.
Like I say, an angry mind is a narrow mind, and even though his anger was pointing him to where he needed to go, it was still making him make definitely the wrong decision.
Yeah, at times you find us here being like, go Barry, you know, living out his other side of himself, because he's so, you know, he's this nice, sensitive guy, and like you were saying, I agree that he kind of was almost better at using his powers when he was angry, so maybe now, since he's experienced that a little bit, maybe he can find a healthy balance.
Well, it was also interesting too, because the anger that he was throwing out there wasn't like random anger, like he was just being mean to be mean. He was actually putting out stuff that we already kind of knew that in himself he was already feeling, you know? The things between Iris and Eddie and all these other things that he had already been kind of like harnessing inside. So maybe it was kind of like a therapeutic way for him to get it out.
I was talking about the captain when he had to go at the captain. When he went off at the captain, he was like, he's been doing this shit to me for too long. I can't take it anymore. And like you said, it's
kind of like you had the courage to finally tell off your boss.
Everybody, for sure. I'm sure you guys are home. Like, that's right. I want to do the same thing to my boss. And
we're not condoning that here at the Stream.tv, by the way.
Do not
go F-bomb your bosses or anything.
But with a little bit of Barry's anger, it actually made him more similar to Arrow and Oliver Queen. And in this episode, it was the crossover, part 1. Tomorrow's part 2 over at Arrow, different show. Very exciting, though. So what are the similarities and differences between Arrow and Oliver Queen's like perspective on being a hero and Barry's?
I don't think they could be farther different.
Right? One of them's got superpowers, one of them's got money and skills. And so he even brought up, he said precision and power can almost be the same thing. Like it doesn't only depend on having super speed, having super strength, having this. It's like you have to go to a place, you have to scout it out, you have to know what you're going to hit, you have to know what you're going in for. And he just proved that point of where it's not just about how hard you can hit, how fast you can run. It's about being smart in the fight.
Now, I think that he's right when he said that, you know, until he can finally have a better understanding and learn his powers better, that he'll do more harm than good. I do believe that. However, I think that if that fight were allowed to go on between the Arrow and the Flash, I feel like there's no way that the Flash couldn't win. Because, you know, yes, there's something to be said about experience. Yes, there's something to be said about, you know, skill and just, you know, knowledge and have been around the block and been doing it for longer. But at the end of the day, Barry's superpowers are so superior to the Arrow that
So what happens if you take away his legs?
You talking about Barry Allen?
Well, yeah, I mean, take away your legs, you're not going to do much either.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
you
saying?
take away Arrow's legs.
He could still shoot a bow and arrow. You take away Barry's
from a
speed, Barry's
wheelchair.
got nothing.
Well, Barry can hand walk super speed as well. Okay. And I just want to say, him
gonna,
being
like,
pissed
crawl
off
up to
is
it.
the best fighting I've ever seen him do.
Yeah.
He fought the way I keep saying
It
he
was
should be
a
fighting
very,
the whole
very
time.
amazing fight scene. I have to say, it was one of my favorite fight
So,
scenes.
Devon, what else, besides a little bit of anger, do you think Barry, as the Flash, can pick up from Oliver as the Arrow?
Let alone, I mean, like he said, check out the scope the area, which I know, like a lot of times the comic Barry's usually like, all right, I'm gonna check out the area quick. Okay, it's good, it's all clear. And I miss him doing that, and I hope he starts doing that now. Like when he has to check out the crime scenes, I like to see it quick. Let me check the place out real quick. It's clean. I would love to see
literally
that.
like
You know
that.
what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
just a little bit of fun.
And then when he hit him with that barrage of punches, I was like, I'm waiting on it. I'm waiting. That's how
Yeah,
it
how
should
did
have
he come back from that? You
Like,
know, Arrow
you
seemed
can't.
like he didn't even get affected. I'm
He
like,
had like
really?
600
That was like
floor.
70
Well,
punches.
Grant's a little small.
No,
He
I
is.
mean, I
They
feel
were
like that
probably
would
little
be
soft
dead
punches.
status.
But still, like 600 kidney shots?
Yeah,
Come on.
you're dead. You're not just
peeing
on the
blood
floor.
immediately.
Yeah,
The guy's been doing this for 8 years. He's been taking hits from so much shit. Okay, fair enough, he hit him a lot of times, but they're not just gonna like, they had to do the punch so that they could do the punches, but then they're not just gonna kill him with the punch.
You're
No,
right, but I mean,
clearly.
It was a good fight scene. It was
I'm
very
just saying
realistic. He only
realistically.
caught him like one time in the chin. Caught
he
him
was
good.
laughing at him. Like, come on, are you
so
swinging at me?
Flash and Arrow within the DC universe is like a very famous duo. They're a team, and on the CW moving forward, I'm sure we're going to see them together more often in the future. But what other maybe duos or two other heroes within the DC universe did the Flash-Arrow relationship kind of remind you of?
The Batman and Robin.
Yeah, to me, Batman, because Arrow's like CW's version of Batman.
Yeah.
He's like, who did this? Tell me now.
Tell me now.
Harvey. Oh, wait, you're not Two-Face, I'm sorry. Who are you? Like, he kept like, he was, oh, don't I'm going to check who's in the warehouse. Who is it? Like, he
But you
did the
feel like
deep
that's a
voice
good,
thing.
because I feel like everyone kind of thinks that Robin is kind of like, you know, subpar to
Well, I'm
Batman.
glad you brought that up, because
Yeah.
while I
That's what I was about to
agree
say.
Arrow is Batman, I would say Flash is more along the lines of Superman. So Arrow and Flash is like Superman and Batman.
Yeah.
Even Harrison Wells this episode was like, Barry, you're supposed to be light and hope, and we all know Superman
Is light and
is
hope.
hope
Right, well, hope.
and
Yeah,
all
that's
that.
true.
And so they're going to be kind of like our CW version of Batman and Superman, while in the cinematic universe, you know, the OGs are going to be killing it.
Yeah.
The OGs.
Can't wait.
Oh, jeez.
Well, it's just the way he was mentoring him gave him
Totally.
that,
Yeah,
like,
at the beginning.
Yeah.
so, like that older, that's
Yeah,
why I
totally.
view the Batman and Robin,
Right.
because, I mean, you don't really mentor Superman.
That would be the initial.
But I think but you know, as funny as that might sound, in the upcoming Batman Superman movie, Batman is going to be like schooling Superman a little bit on how to be a hero and all that. But guys, we really don't know that much compared to you, because you guys got your computers in front of you right now and you could be looking up all this stuff. So let us know your theories by hitting us up on Twitter. Use the hashtag #TheFlashAS. You already know that already, but hey, if you're new, what's up? Keep the Twitter comments coming, and of course the YouTube comments. By the way, last week, you guys were like blowing it out of the water with like the theories on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
You're just going after it. So keep up the good work.
Yeah, good job, guys. And please tell me whether or not you agree with my theory, because every episode is now bringing us that much closer. I'm telling you, watch. When Wells gets out of that chair in front of Eddie, it's about to get real.
I have to
gonna
say,
get
there was
real.
some pretty compelling evidence this episode that you could be right about.
Yeah, well, no, I'm glad you brought that up, because what we saw now
It's
is
an ongoing theory, my
more
friend.
and more is Eddie just getting gas put on the fire. Another saying I'm just failing at. Fueling the fire. Fueling the fire about his, you know, negative feelings towards Barry, especially in this episode, because Barry was so angry, literally pulled that fool out of the car and beat him up.
Bruh, he started a task force against him now.
Well,
Yes.
start at the beginning of the
Like,
episode
what?
when Eddie just like was straight up to the captain. He was like, "This guy is a bad guy. He's bringing bad to the place. He's not doing good." Eddie hates the Flash.
I hope he.
So now, from what we saw in this episode, Lauren, how is the Barry-Eddie-Iris relationship going to move on from here?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely say that, you know, it was really kind of disheartening to see Iris basically tell the Flash that she didn't want to speak to him anymore. I was kind of upset to see that. I mean, you know, I don't think that it's for good, but I mean, he did beat her boyfriend to a pulp, so I can't really say that I blame her. But I definitely think that, Devon may or may not be onto something with the whole triangle there, because it's definitely setting up not only Eddie, to be kind of the antithesis and against the Flash, but also for Iris to kind of be against the Flash as well.
Right. Well, it's really what's looking like now is that Eddie's going to be in a position where he needs to stop Barry, and he's going to be at the forefront of that, probably well known throughout the city, trying to stop the Flash. So one would assume that possibly Harrison Wells will approach him with the power of Barry to stop Barry, and then bing, bang, boom, we got yourself a movie.
It's just interesting to me, like, why does Eddie think, like, I understand, like, why Iris is pissed off at the Flash, but why is Eddie hating on the Flash so much?
You gotta understand, I mean, Iris is sneaking out to go meet up with this guy. Regardless if he got superpowers or not, he's still a man with another man's penis. And I don't want you hanging around on it, sneaking out behind my back. That's all he's saying.
Yeah.
That's out of the whole jealousy that I was telling you about.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what if, like, if you was, okay, never mind. Yes.
It could also be jealousy based on the fact, too, that maybe he's doing his job a little bit better than he can do it himself because the Flash has some superpowers.
100?
I doubt that.
No, but that's included.
I'm just saying, I feel like it's more out of like a boyfriend, like, you thought I was going to be okay with this? Like, what's up? Like, you just going to be meeting up with this dude that you keep emailing online? Like, come on now. What is this, Tinder? Like, get out of here.
Now, is there any more reason for Barry not to like Eddie besides the fact that he's just dating Iris?
Well, I don't think he has a reason not to like Eddie. Barry can't exactly hate him for Eddie and Iris dating. It's not exactly Barry's like...
He's just hating.
It's hating. Like, it's hating on the fact that they're together. He doesn't hate them. I think he cares
I agree.
Like, he loves Iris.
I think the grudge is definitely more so Eddie against the Flash rather than Barry against Eddie.
Yeah, I think that's what it's
eventually
gonna be.
Barry's going to get Iris simply because of the fact that Joe supports Barry but does not support Eddie. In this, I feel like Joe has a lot of influence on what goes on.
It's true.
Yeah. He's definitely going to win. So if Iris thinks, oh, I'm not meeting up with Flash no more, and then Barry's going to be like, ta-da, and she can be like, take the panties. Joe, you agree? Okay, let's go.
No, I also think it's a blessing, too, for Iris now and for Barry and the Flash that they're not going to have their little relationship anymore because it's really just making things messy.
It is.
I think he should just, like, do his own thing, and she should just do her own thing.
I
and
prefer it like that.
When their paths cross organically, they shall, once again.
It always seems just in general, like in relationships, it's like when it's not forced and it just kind of naturally and organically happens, it's always better anyway, so.
Yes, and I quite agree. I quite agree. Very much so.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Someone's having some things going on in his life.
Guys, tweet me some help. I don't know what's going on.
Are you having girl problems?
Yeah, like a little bit. I don't know. Me and my girlfriend kind of like broke up. And
See, I asked you if something
We
was
knew
wrong.
it. We knew something was wrong with Dylan today.
Tweet him some love, guys.
Oh,
Ladies out there, Dylan's on the market.
Yeah.
Hype guys on the market. Hype
We
guys
have a single hottie here who's newly single.
I don't
So
know, now
ladies,
I'm like regretting it, I guess. I miss her, so we'll see what happens this
I
week.
knew something was in that head of yours.
Moving on. Oh, Lordy.
Oh, and quick shout out to @Mikey7382. He told me I got to do the I got to do that for him. I have to do that for him.
wow. So not only do you have to give shout outs now, but you have to do like little.
Special request, guys. Special request.
Yeah.
You want us to do something for you? We got you.
stupid.
I sent him the GIF of Idris Elba doing that. And he was like, you got to do the smile with it. And I said,
Oh
okay,
my
I'm going to hit
gosh.
you with the.
Too cool.
There we go. There we
Too cool
go.
for school. I'll tell you who else is too cool for school. That Harrison Wells.
He is.
This guy.
school.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, so I mean, we saw that. I mean, all of a sudden, because he's a genius, he figured out that Oliver Queen is the Arrow.
Sorry, just
Go for
thought
it.
about something.
Yes.
Wasn't Harrison Wells the one that said, we need someone to stop Barry? Well, there is one guy who can stop him, and then they called Arrow.
Yes.
So there is one guy who can stop the Flash. So Harrison Wells no longer needs to create someone who can stop the Flash because, according to Harrison Wells, the Arrow can stop the
Well,
Flash.
while I think that's true, I think they're just going to be really good friends, and I don't think he's going to be able to manipulate.
Yeah,
Arrow
I don't
to
think. I
stop
think
him.
Arrow has way too
You
hardcore.
also saw where he was like, no, Barry's going to win. So we need to do something because Barry is going to win.
But
like,
yeah, no,
plain as
But
simple.
he could keep him. What he meant
But he
was
can keep
Arrow
him
would keep him
occupied and
for a
distracted
little
until
while.
he's
Fair.
smart enough.
I'm trying to find every flaw in your theory.
You're
Get over it.
And, but now that Harrison Wells knows that Oliver Queen is the Arrow, do we see the Arrow coming back into play of Harrison Wells' like future plan?
Possibly, I can see that.
There's definitely a reason why he's interested in the Arrow for sure. I mean, I think that's why he was clearly trying to get the information out of Felicity, and then spent however he worked his voodoo magic and figured out that it was Oliver Queen. So I think he works in there somehow. I think that Harrison Wells in general is just his concern is with the Flash. So anyone who can help or hurt the Flash, regardless, just be on that same level with the Flash, I think he's interested in. For whatever reason, we don't know
Keep
yet.
them close.
Keep close. Keep your friends
close, enemies closer.
Now, besides the obvious fact that all of a sudden the Arrow's in town and, hey, all of a sudden Oliver Queen's in town at the same time, any other reason Harrison Wells might have known that it was Oliver Queen as the Arrow?
I mean, he has like a future computer or whatever it is,
That's
Gideon.
true.
Yeah.
And act like he don't exist no more. Or the Kirk, because it sounds
Gideon's
like
a her by the sound of things.
Well, there's still just so much that we don't know about Harrison
newspaper,
Wells.
you know
Who
what I'm
knows
saying?
how he's
Like-
getting all of his information?
Well,
He
I
could
love
know
that you asked
someone.
that. So what are other, now that we've seen the Arrow episode of The Flash, this big moment, it's kind of almost to the mid-season finale, which will be next week, guys. Next week, we're going to take a break. We're not going to see you for a couple of weeks. What are some predictions moving into next week and then the second half of the season?
Oof. I mean,
Do you
so
see Harrison Wells approaching Eddie this season?
I doubt it's gonna be this quick. Because we still got to go through the task force history.
Exactly.
To see some fights. I feel like it's gonna be at the end when Eddie's at like wit's end. He done already lost Iris. He's hating, and I feel like honestly, Eddie's gonna find out that Barry is Flash before Iris does, and that's another thing that sets him off. And Harrison's like, oh, so now you know, right? Get up out the chair. Whenever he gets out the chair, shit gets real. I'm just saying. And I feel like we got to go through that first. Season 3, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. Jeff, what do you love about this episode?
I just love the crossover between the two of them. It was nice to see two. It's always fun to see superheroes going at each other. My favorite part was actually when he was training him. I like the whole, and like you said, like Rocky's one of my favorite films. Just throwing that one out there. And watching Oliver Queen go over there. You're gonna catch this arrow, and Barry's like, course, like, you're not going to hit me with the arrow. And then Barry takes the piss out of him. But Oliver knew that he was going to try and, like, belittle him and run closer to catch it. He already had them two set up to shoot him in the back. Like, I just like the way that Oliver chooses the precision. I personally really like the way Oliver chooses the precision, the technique, the skills and the intelligence to use in a fight over Barry's pure speed and ambition.
Well, at the end of the day, the Arrow Oliver doesn't have the abilities that Barry has. So if he doesn't have the intelligence, he's really left with nothing. Because at the end of the day, there's so many people who can pick up a bow and arrow. It's not like that's the most deadly weapon on. What makes the arrow deadly is
his mind.
Is his
the way,
intellect.
like he said,
Absolutely.
he's done this for 8 years. He's what did he say? I've come up against things you can't even fathom. Like, he's done so much stuff.
Yeah, I would say like the juxtaposition of like Arrow's stance in the world and Barry's stance in the world together was kind of like really nice
awesome.
to see. And I think Grant, as an actor, was kind of like in his zone.
Yeah,
when he
was,
was like
I thought he was much better than he's ever been.
When he was talking to Oliver and Stephen Amell in that scene, I thought he was just like really kind of was in his groove, and that's kind of like the zone he likes to operate out of.
What is the age difference between the two of them?
I think he's like,
Does
Nemo's like 10 years older.
At least 10
years.
years.
Like 10 years.
At least.
He's like 34 and 24.
Yeah,
I
probably.
think Grant did a good job being angry the whole episode. He even had Joe in there like, oh, he was so scary.
Yeah. So it was Barry and Grant Gustin's coming out party. We got so much more. And guys, we're going to get to your tweets, so get them in right now on the live questions on the YouTube page. And of course, the hashtag #TheFlashAS. And we're going to get to all that right after this quick break.
Just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live.
Just in case you missed it live.
Oh, just in case you missed it live. In case you missed it live, I'm doing something right now.
So we're all super excited.
This is dancing.
So what would that be, like a 7?
I cannot. I literally cannot. You guys have got to get it together.
Don't hate the player, don't hate the game. Hate the contract you didn't get.
He's a coward. He's a giant chicken shit.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's going to be like hurricane. Whoa.
Watch out for those girls. They are gagging them.
Hold the phone.
Hold on.
Bro.
The more brutal you are, the more power you have.
Right.
That was sexy. It was hot. It was heated. I was into it.
You are going to be the most high-paid hooker in the world.
Go ahead and invite your friends and everybody. Tell your mama. Tell them don't go ahead and turn the stove off and get up on the computer so we can get on homestream.tv.
Thank you again for joining us, and until next week, bye-bye.
Hey guys, we are back, and I gotta get to some shout-outs. But real quick, thank you to my homie Phil Weaver over on Twitter for sending me the link to the Flashpoint Paradox, the Justice League cartoon movie.
Yes, I've been telling them about that forever. Thank you very much.
Thank the Lord,
the
I
link
saw
I sent
that.
didn't work. So thank you for helping
And
me out.
now I can see why
If that wants to get
Flash
sent
fans-
around, that
I'll
link,
forward
it can
to you.
definitely get sent around.
And now I definitely see why Flash fans were saying Ryan Gosling would be a good choice for Barry Allen, because like in the cartoon version, it kind of looked like Ryan Gosling. It kind of looks like him, but you know, Ezra Miller's gonna be really well. YouTube shout-outs. Yo, what's good? Digi Destined 5555, Calvin P, Chelsea V, Eliezer Makios, Casey Vaughn, hey, Rick Stokely, Jay-Z U, or Vu, Forever Johnny Boy, Taylor Andrews, and everything is awesome. Woo! Thanks, guys. We've got some fan questions right here that you could send in, and we're gonna get to them all, or as many as possible. Here's the first one. At JohnMa92 says, looks like CBS's Supergirl will be a part of the Flash Arrow universe. How do you think they will make that work? You guys are awesome. Woo! Well, first of all, thank you for saying we're awesome. Appreciate that. You guys are even more awesome. And before we get to this question, maybe Devon could answer this one for us. I just want to point out that CBS actually owns a portion of CW, so it's somewhat in the same universe. So that then, even though they're on a different network, like Arrow and Flash, same network, no problem to crossover.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a bit of a problem inter-network. However, CBS owns a little bit of CW, so just throwing that out
Good
there.
point.
So how do you think Supergirl could come into play in an episode like this?
Honestly, I really feel like she can't. You can't have Supergirl without Superman. You know what I'm saying? That's like bringing in Robin, and then they'd be like, wait, who's Batman? There's no Batman. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't skip a whole...
I feel like that won't work because Supergirl will have too many powers. I feel like in this one, the metahumans, everyone's got their own thing. Barry's got his speed, Blackout had his draining energy, like Weather Wizard had his weather, like... Supergirl's then gonna come in, and then she's gonna be like, she's just gonna be ruining everything.
Like, I can do it all.
She's just gonna be destroying everyone.
But you know, Harrison Wells will have kryptonite standing by or something.
Oh yeah,
like that.
But are they talking about like the cousin Supergirl? Or are they talking about like Power Girl, the clone?
No.
They mean
Kara.
So they talking about the cousin. Yes,
Yeah.
You can't have Superman cousin without.
But that's what. But time out. That's if you guys are following the blogs out there in the news. Everyone's been like, well, if Supergirl does exist, Superman has to exist.
Yeah.
So if they address it in the show, maybe they do, maybe they don't. And while we're talking about shows and casting, Claire Holt on Vampire Diaries is pretty much the #1 choice from my sources, and like the fact that I could say that. My sources tell me.
Oh, I think you had a little dust on your shoulder.
Thank you.
Got it.
No,
got
it's
it.
actually on.
It's
It's on the public news now, so I don't have to feel that cool about it. But yeah, Claire Holt from Vampire Diaries. So if you guys want to check her out and pull up a little Google image and see what she's all about. We've got another question right here.
You say she's the head in casting for Supergirl.
And she's a good-looking girl. And I think she could pull it off. She's hot.
She's hot.
Calvin P. What do you guys think about Sandra and Oliver meeting again? And do you guys think we'll see Connor and Oliver's reaction? So I believe Sandra was the woman at the end. That now it's all making sense because you know the love life that Oliver kind of has on his own show is there's not too much that may or may not happen there, but now this woman comes back into the life that they have a baby together, which Oliver doesn't know about. I feel as though maybe one day they will reconcile.
I feel like there's way too much real drama.
Yeah,
going
I
on.
would not want to see what happens when the Arrow finds out that he has a kid and it's been kept from him this whole entire time. I feel like just knowing his character and how, you know, just how intense he is about everything, I think that would go down very badly.
Pissed.
Yeah, pretty
You're gonna be
upset. Pretty upset.
Whew, let's do two more.
Okay.
This is from Robert Erniso. Dr. Wells is Metron. He's an interdimensional traveler doing experiments. He's not good or a bad person. He's a curious scientist. But maybe I'm wrong.
Have I read that before? Has he commented that before?
No, I've heard somebody, a few people have said that.
Yeah, he's saying he's Metron. Is he wrong? And who is Metron?
Well, like he said, he pretty much just broke him down
Okay,
for
word.
us. But I've heard somebody say that, and I've also heard somebody say he's the anti-monitor, which is another, good thing right there. But it's hard to tell at this point. I'm gonna stick with my theory, not to say yours is wrong, but I wouldn't be surprised if he is Metron. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that could be cool.
Yeah,
that makes sense. If Eddie's gonna be the reverse, if he's not his own Reverse Flash, Eddie would be Reverse Flash, and then Dr. Wells, this Metron guy.
Because you never know, something could happen during a fight with the task force, and he gets an accident, and then he.
And we kind of, it's not really been something we've talked about a lot, so it could be like somewhat of a nice little surprise. Let's get to one more question. This one is for Devon.
Oh.
Why would Wells turn Eddie into the Reverse Flash if he's trying to mold Barry into the Flash in his future? That's from Chelsea.
I've thought about that. But I kind of go off the basis of you can't have the good without the bad. You know what I'm saying? And
he needs something to be able to control the Flash.
You know what I'm saying?
So if the Flash gets out of control and starts doing something that he does that's not in his plan of what he needs him to do, it would be very helpful to have someone who could stop him or redirect
of equal
him.
or greater power. You see what I'm saying? Because obviously none of the other metahumans can do it. So it's
But how ghetto is this? That it's only powers through the suit, right?
Well, at one time, but then there's an accident. Like it starts off that way.
Oh,
but
those
then, of
accidents.
course, it becomes an accident.
Bloody accidents.
Because no one in comic books is that careful. So it's accidents.
No one in the comic books is
never that careful. It's always an accident.
I'm just trying to get some superhuman powers over
klutz.
here. Can anybody help us out with that?
Well, let's go play in a nuclear waste and see if we can come
see what
up with
happens.
something.
Oh, we'll be the new teenage.
Hopefully we don't get cancer, but I would like to.
On the weekends, us here from the Flash After Show just like to go hang out in thunder and lightning storms, hoping that we get struck and gain some powers of our own.
Now, before we get out of here, we did see the quick little button at the end of Robbie Amell's return as Firestorm. Who's excited for that?
I am. Me. I am right here. Right here.
What's Firestorm going to bring to the table, Devon?
Some realness. I hope so. Because also, I wanted to shout out somebody. I forgot it was on YouTube, I think it was. Somebody told me about the whole thing. Remember when he took the little sample from Blackout?
Yeah.
If that could also help to some way lead into Caitlin Snow becoming Killer Frost, and now we see Firestorm, and it all plays together. But I mean, I'm glad to see he had the fire and everything. Obviously, it looks like you could turn it on and off. I guess I mean, spit everywhere right there.
Now, what I would say also, since Caitlin Snow and him are kind of an item, and he's going to be a bad guy, maybe there are moments when Caitlin Snow is also bad with him, and she's kind of figuring out for herself what she wants to be, and maybe at the end of the day, she's who stops Firestorm. You never know.
Yeah, maybe she's the reason. Maybe Firestorm starts an issue, and then someone's like, how are we going to stop him? And then Caitlin's like, I'm going to do it. And then she's like, Wells, give me something. And then Wells is like, I got this.
He
and
gives
then
her the
like,
blackout drainage.
Killer Frost, honey.
Because she's really like a heat vampire. That's why they work so well. Because unlimited heat right there.
So much to do, so much to talk about. We can't wait to see it. Guys, send us what you thought. Use the hashtag #TheFlashAS. Follow us on Twitter. Hit us up on the YouTube comment section. And before we get out of here, big shout out to the DC Comic Cinematic Universe for making it official that Tom Hardy, Margot Robbie, Will Smith, Oprah in the house is going to be partying in the Suicide Squad coming the beginning of 2016, I believe, and that is official. Will Smith as Deadshot.
No way.
Jay Courtney is going to be Captain Boomerang, and Tom Hardy is going to be Rick Flag, and Margot Robbie is going to be
Harley Quinn.
Thank
you.
And Carla Delevingne, you guys know her, the model with the eyebrows.
Yes.
She is going to be Empress or something like that, I think.
Super excited to see Tom Hardy as a
Who's Oprah going to be?
Oprah is going to be a woman, and I forget her name. Anyway.
I'm like so excited
We'll
that
let you
She's
know
going
on
to be like the
Twitter.
one above all.
For Jack, Lauren, Devon, I'm Dylan. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out from The Flash.
Bye, guys.
Willard
After Show.
Christopher Smith Jr. is Deadshot.
Later.
I love
Be
that.
safe.